Welcome to the Scam Economy with your host, Matt Bender.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Scam Economy post show. And as of right now in this post show, we are roughly 6.5 hours into the Bender, the non-stop Matrathon that started at 12 noon Eastern time when I filled in for Emma and Sam on the Majority Report. And I did 3 hours of MR, and then I did 2 hours of a MR post show on my own channel, and then Scam Economy started at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and here we are almost 10:30, and we're about to go for around another hour and a half to top off this day. I will be taking your phone calls. Just open up Skype, type in Doomed Live. We don't have to talk about crypto. I would love to talk about crypto, but you could call in about anything you'd like. Politics, current events, movies, TV shows, music, whatever you'd like, really. We got our first call coming in right now. Let's take that call. Hey, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Maddie, it's Tony from Texas, and I'm 3 for 3 for your first call answered of each call-in portion of every one of the streams you've been on today.
There we go. Except for that first one where I did pick up the call, but there was technical difficulties.
You picked it up. There was technical issues, but you still picked up mine first.
All right, so you got something. You're bringing us into the metaverse here. Let me switch over.
Yeah, I'm in the workshop again.
I can't do split screen, I don't think, because otherwise we can't see it all. So I'm going to give you the full screen here for a second or two. Let's do this. What are you showing us here? Let's do it.
It's a little something I'm working on for a little something. It's a rough sketch. So in this program, I just kind of like hash out the ideas, and then I'll take it into another program to like refine the model. And but it's just like a little eldritch thing.
Is that a tree with the Windows blue screen of death growing off of each branch?
It's the right wing pipeline eldritch tree.
Okay.
So it'll be much grosser when I get to the final product. But yeah, it's piping all of its nasty cueness all over with its little blue screens of death there. But yeah, so I promised you a little bit of crypto chat.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna pull myself up here and let's have this discussion.
Yeah, so it was my creative partner, due to our endeavors, winds up rubbing elbows with some kind of tech valley, tech bro types, and one of them, wanting to be so supportive and everything, offered this gem of an idea. What if we were able to come up with like a platform where people could tip these creators, making video games and doing all this kind of stuff with crypto, do like crypto tipping. And
if only there was a way to tip your favorite creators on the internet.
To tip your favorite creators, and like just on so many levels, what a fucking stupid idea. Like, why don't you just tip me in like lotto tickets? Like, if I took those lotto tickets and immediately set them on fire, I have a better chance of walking away with more for my efforts. And it just, I don't know. It all kind of feels like it stems from, like the way my creative partner explains it to me is like these fucking rich guys, they can't just let go of money or resources without feeling like they're getting something back in return or getting more in return or whatever. Like, everything's got to be a part of making that number go up. Otherwise, like, they feel like they're being taken advantage of because they're not walking away with more from some sort of exchange. Like, there's just not there's not this idea of like reciprocity. It just does not take purchase in their heads, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, that I've been kind of sitting on that one, wanting to make sure it wasn't something that he was going to take seriously.
We're seeing this with Web3 a lot lately, where it's, I mean, not even lately, since the beginning we've seen this a lot, with basically a Web3 founder or like some sort of online entrepreneur will come up with some Web3 idea that's literally already been done like 20 times, and like 5 of the platforms that do that very thing are still in existence, and like 2 to 3 of them are actually huge in like the field. It's like amazing. They just constantly coming up with new brilliant ideas that have already been done 100 million times.
Right. Yeah. It's like, hey, maybe if we just reinvent the wheel in a really obscure way, we can siphon a lot of money off of people before they realize, and we'll have rolled on to the next town. But it's not the 1800s. There's paper trail for these things. But this also kind of like brings me to another thought I was having about all of this news that happened last week with Trump. Like, I have been very skeptical at the idea that he will be held accountable for things, because there's not a lot of historical precedent for us holding presidents accountable for crimes. Pretty much all of our presidents do a lot of like war crimes and that sort of thing. But it occurred to me that in some of these instances, especially regarding like mishandling classified documents and risking the methods that our intelligence agencies use to operate, there's a better chance that there might be some accountability, because when it comes to just like airstriking with drones and countries with like poor brown people, that's what's at whatever. But Trump did a crime that actually puts like very rich, powerful white people's wealth at risk and their power at risk. And since he's actually done something that's threatened like folks who really do a lot to prop up the status quo, he might be held accountable for at least that, kind of like Al Capone going down for tax evasion.
You're right. Right. Yeah. I mean, this is a little bit different than that. This is I would say,
yeah,
a little bit different. But no,
a little bit different.
I get what you're saying. Like, he could scam all the regular people he wants and gets away with it. But he took the wrong papers from the wrong agency or the wrong institution, the U.S. government, and he's gonna perhaps get his just desserts. But I think that's a little bit different than like a rich person scamming a bunch of other rich people and getting punished for that. Or this is a little bit different.
Yeah. But yeah, well, thanks so much for taking another call from me in a single day, and it's been a great bender. My first day off in several weeks, and
Oh, there we go.
Quite enjoyable to spend most of it listening to you talk about the current events and stuff. So thanks for everything that you do.
What luck that it worked out that way. That it just so happened you were off today, and I was doing what I was doing today.
I'm glad it panned out that way. Don't forget to check your Discord DMs and make me a mod of the Patreon
I got
Discord channel.
I got to do that. Also, to people listening who are patrons and didn't receive their Discord invite, if you messaged me, check your Patreon messages because there is a link awaiting you. I have delivered.
Awesome. Well, you're the best, Matt. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to all the other wonderful callers.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Tony. Always a pleasure. Have a great night. Let's go back to the phones. Oh. Oh. Like 3 people just tried to call in at once and they canceled each other out. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Domingo from El Salvador.
Hey, Domingo from El Salvador. How are you doing? What would you like to talk about?
Hey, I'm doing fine, actually, thanks. Uh, yeah, I've been following your show for a long time. I was a guest in the Crypto Critics podcast a while ago.
Oh.
And, the current events are just fascinating to me. The whole regulatory pressure and over Coinbase and other US-based exchanges. So I just wanted to leave you with a little bit of a brainworm, if you will.
Sure.
So right now, there is all this regulatory pressure on Coinbase and other US-based exchanges, including, of course, Tether and iFinex and Bitfinex. And, well, being from El Salvador, I follow closely these developments. And so this is the thing. What's the chance that this regulatory crackdown that is looking imminent now, what do you think its ramifications are going to be with regards to Tether and its relationship with El Salvador? Because, I mean, maybe last year there was some room to question it, but now it's just crystal clear that El Salvador's regime is absolutely nuts and insane. So
Right.
them doing sure. So the regime doing something crazy like issuing Bitcoin bonds, volcano bonds, if you will, and using their Tether and Bitfinex affiliations to essentially print US dollars in, unbacked currencies. And we even got to see Paolo in our Congress drafting the Bitcoin bonds law.
Yeah.
So do you think there's going to be a chance of this regulatory crackdown eventually coming down onto the regime or onto supporters of the regime? What are your thoughts on that?
It'll be interesting to see what happens with. First of all, I want to say thanks for calling in. I did an episode with an El Salvadorian crypto critic as well. I would love to have more on it because what's going on in El Salvador, like you mentioned, is horrific based on like Bukele's love for this whole industry. I'm sure he's enriching himself. But I had Mario Gomez on, and we talked a little bit about the El Salvadorian Bitcoin project and Bitcoin Beach and all that. We touched a little bit on volcano bonds, but didn't have a chance to get too deep into it because it was already a long episode. So maybe we could talk about that. Maybe we could set something up to get you on the show for the main episode. But I don't know how the I don't even know how far the regulatory bodies are going to go. I mean, it took this long for the SEC to even crack down on what they on basically looking at what Coinbase, for example, was listing and going, hey, some of these are unregistered securities. That's a problem. So I don't know. I mean, I know here in New York, our attorney general had her eyes set on Tether, and there was that whole situation where Tether had to provide the New York AG, Letitia James, with information, and that's when it came out that Tether was indeed, like, that's when it officially came out. Like, obviously this was something that was spoken about for a long time, but that's when it was made official because of the documentation that they had to provide, that Tether wasn't backed, one for one. Like, it's supposed to, they claim that for every, one Tether printed up, there is $1 USD in their banks. So, when they print up 1 billion Tether, they once claimed that meant they got a new $1 billion in their bank. That's not the case, obviously, because anyone who watches those monitors those Tether printer trackers knows that Tether will just randomly start printing up $1 billion out of thin air. Frankly, whenever they feel like, hey, Bitcoin's dropping, gotta pump up those prices. So, and basically all we were able to get out of that here with the New York AG is I think Tether had to pay some sort of fines or something. I don't recall exactly what it was, but, they're still operating. So I don't know. Obviously, the SEC is a whole different ballgame, but, the SEC still is moving extremely slow. So I don't know. I truly don't know. It's a very interesting question. Definitely a great question to ask to someone who I should have on the show who would be more knowledgeable about, the SEC and these sorts of things. Tether, I feel like Tether is so integrated into everything that I almost feel like something would really have to be big to come out and for something to happen, or for Tether to fail on its own, for their place in the ecosystem to change or evaporate or, move in some way. I do think it will fall apart eventually. Something will happen to Tether eventually, and that's when you'll really see. Anyone who thought the crypto crash was big back when Terra and Luna failed. Wait till Tether, fucks up the crypto. Yeah, fucks up the crypto space.
Oh yeah, that's going to be an extinction event.
Right. Yes. I mean, the news today. Yeah. The news today was interesting. I mean, this wouldn't be an extinction event for crypto as a whole, but at least in the U.S., this would be a big deal because, Coinbase CEO Armstrong basically came out and said that if they had, I think it was, and don't quote me on the terminology, but he was asked about what if when Ethereum merges to a proof of stake model, if that somehow ran afoul of the SEC or U.S. law, how would you handle that, being that you currently list it? And he said they would stop dealing with Ethereum proof of stake. I mean, that, the idea that the largest exchange in the U.S. would do that would certainly, I think, cause some ripple effects were that to happen. And that was just something just thrown out today from a question. But yeah, if something was to happen to Tether, oh man, we would be seeing, exactly. Extinction event certainly is a spot on way to describe it.
Well, yeah, that was really, really interesting. Well, actually, the news cycle in crypto is overwhelming. Honestly, I admire you for not burning out because it's just crazy out there. I read earlier today about Tether hiring a top 5 auditor, which is, I guess, now down from top 12, Big 12. Now it's Big 5. And it's a firm that's been, it's been sanctioned with hundreds of millions of euros because of bad accounting practices. So that's not really who I would put in the top 5, I guess, but whatever, floats their boat, right? Doesn't look good anyway. And now, circling back to El Salvador, the thing is, Tether and the regime were doing all these shady movements and getting all sorts of people involved. I think even Binance CEO took a trip to El Salvador and had a dinner in the presidential house.
Right, I
So
saw
there
that.
was all
They posted the
yeah,
photos and everything. It was like a meeting with
yes,
like like a leader of a state. They were treating the
yep.
Binance CEO as if like there was some sort of prime minister visit or something. It was amazing that they would
They
do that.
they yeah they broke out the golden forks and knives and spoons for the dinner photo. It was amazing. But yeah, so I'm kind of torn between two hypotheses. Either the whole El Salvador thing is just a ruse for basically a huge money laundering operation, or cashing out some big bags of the Bukele's clan or his circle of friends, or is it really just an elaborate ruse for um, I guess pumping up the bags by giving it an illusion of legitimacy by being backed by a state, which is, I guess, contrarian to all of the libertarian principles, which I don't really necessarily agree with them, but I mean, I can see that it's the exact opposite of what the Bitcoin white paper was all about, right? It's central government calling the shots, central bank providing the on and off ramp, and controlling all the transactions. Everything is off chain. It's not even a secondary chain. It's quite literally a MySQL database,
Right.
and a central entity at that. So it's a trifecta of contradictions. And so what even is the whole point, and what even made all these maxis come out and in support of an obvious dictator and right and a mass murderer as of now?
Right.
And
Right. I mean, for them, it's a great question and a great point to make, honestly. And this is my take on it. I think there are those Bitcoin OGs who are still around, who truly look at this from the ideological standpoint, who these hardcore libertarians, the end the Fed types, the Ron Paulites. They're still around and they still believe in this in that way for sure. But I think for the most part, those people are in the minority now. And what became of the hardcore Bitcoin maxi is that they basically transformed into anything that legitimizes the space is something we must get on top of, something we must strive for, something we must cultivate, because in turn it's going to pump up the value of our holdings and fill our bags. I mean, they don't really like the ideological the ideological aspect of Bitcoin, for example, is still there in the sense of this is great because I'll avoid paying taxes. I'll avoid my money being held somewhere where it can be monitored in such a way. I mean, that's what it comes down to. The ideological, the vast majority of people now, the ideological bent here is how can I keep most of my money without the IRS knowing? But in terms of like why they're flocking to Bukele and the El Salvador project, it's because it legitimizes crypto. If a country, an entire government, a state says we're going to use this as our currency and we're going to invest in it and we're going to build cities based around the usage of it. I mean, that is without a doubt, in their view, going to be something that legitimizes it, going to be something that cements it in the space. Like, if Bitcoin's just being held by a bunch of libertarian nerds, it can go somewhere. It can fail. It can disappear. What's going to hold it up? What's going to bolster it? If a government, no matter what that government is, but if a government is using it as their currency, I mean, obviously, El Salvador isn't like a global power or anything, but the crypto maxis, the Bitcoin maxis, will take whatever they can get. And so, in their view, a literal leader of a country is supporting them and is offering to cement Bitcoin status, then they'll accept it. They don't care. I mean, they would have taken it from anyone. They could have taken it from the Saudi regime, the MBS and his regime that murders journalists, chops them up into pieces. They don't care as long as someone in power was to legitimize cryptocurrency, thus in turn enriching them. That's all they care about, because that's all this space is now. There's no more, like, even though I disagree with libertarians completely, there is something more respectable about supporting this sort of technology if there is some sort of ideology behind it, that there's a belief system behind it that's more than just financial gain. But that doesn't exist at a large level anymore in crypto. It is strictly a means to enrich yourself in my opinion, one of the most nefarious ways possible.
Yeah, that's right. There's no longer any ideological or philosophical or really any school of thought behind the crypto movement, and particularly it's easily demonstrated in El Salvador because it's just completely immoral. It's just, well, even beyond morals, it's completely unethical. It's completely inhumane. And if you're doing that just to pump your bags, well, that doesn't really speak well of anyone who stands behind it. Getting behind a literal dictator, murderous dictator, mass incarceration, and all, just to pump your potential profits, your unmaterialized profits. It's terrible. But yeah, and there's also this.
They're definitely, hold that thought. Don't forget it. But I just want to add here. I can tell you though that they're not losing sleep at night, thinking, "Oh no, how can I do this? Am I doing something wrong supporting Bukele in order to basically enrich myself?" I guarantee you, they're not staying up at night. I mean, look at Max Kaiser at that Bitcoin conference in Miami a few months ago, holding up the Salvadorian flag, screaming "Bukele, Bukele, Bukele!" And after he does that performative thing on stage, and he's ready to talk, he takes that Salvadorian flag and he tosses it behind him like it's a piece of trash, because they don't care. They don't care.
They don't really care, and it's hilarious in a bad way. But also. So there's been recently this whole movement around Bitcoin Beach, which has been kept. Well, I've been following it too. The place where Bitcoin Beach, in quote unquote, is El Sonte. It's a beautiful beach with a riverbed. It's beautiful. The Salvadorans living in the communities around it they haven't really seen a significant benefit from the Bitcoinization of Bitcoin Beach or Chivo Wallet or whatever. Maybe they've seen some of them are like, oh, well, I get like $50 to $100 extra in Bitcoin sales, which is great. I mean, I'm actually happy that they get extra income, but that extra income isn't significant enough to pull them out of poverty, isn't significant enough for them to make a long impacting change in their lives. So if you see pictures of the before and after of Bitcoin Beach, and the only thing that's new is maybe there's a couple of new big restaurants and hotels, but the people, selling ice cream and selling coconut juice and things like that, they're still living in abject poverty.
Right.
But
wait a minute.
What's interesting?
Hold on a second. You're Domingo. You're telling me that the Salvadorians who are selling coconut juice on a beach in El Salvador are not getting rich thanks to Bitcoin? I'm shocked. I mean, but that's how they'll sell it. They'll sell it like, oh, because they're accepting Bitcoin.
If you ask a Bitcoin maxi, they'll tell you, oh, it's because they're not hodling
Right. Yeah, of course.
But
The person who's literally living like probably juice sale to juice sale, literally scrounging up their daily earnings every day in order to provide for their family, they're not also setting aside Bitcoin for investment purposes. I'm shocked.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, everything thinks about Bitcoin like, well, Maxis tend to think about Bitcoin like everyone has an investment fund, an investment account in their bank separate just to throw at stocks and gamble away. But anyway, the other interesting thing I wanted to ask regarding regulations is we've seen this kind of boom in the zones around Bitcoin Beach, around La Libertad, around all the coast, which is historically has been a very touristic place, and it's really quite beautiful. But the thing is, I've begun to see sort of a colonization of these places by I think the last case I saw, and then I was like, okay, I'm not going to continue watching this anymore because it's bad for my mental health. It's a chiropractor from Australia that had bought a plot of land in near El Sonte, quite a few acres actually, and it was like, oh, I'm living the dream and whatever. And everyone was dunking on him on Twitter. All the Salvadoran Twitter users were like, God damn it. I have lived in this country all my whole life. I'm nearly pensioned and I cannot afford to buy an acre in the beach. And this guy just comes in and buys it with Bitcoin, which isn't it suspicious that a chiropractor is rich enough to buy land abroad with Bitcoins? And, you know, and then just today I saw by chance a Twitter of someone that was saying like, um, is it possible to not pay U.S. taxes if I move to El Salvador on a work visa and cash my salary in Bitcoin and stuff like that? So it's
Right.
interesting that the country is slowly turning into like a tax evasion haven,
Right.
or at least that's what they want.
I mean, we're seeing this a little bit with U.S. people, U.S. crypto investors moving to Puerto Rico because there are tax benefits, and I think the Puerto Rican government even. Much like I'm sure El Salvador does, try to promote moving there with benefits for crypto investors specifically because they want to create like a crypto haven. Yeah, it's ridiculous and bizarre. Like Bitcoin Beach, in and of itself, is extremely bizarre. How basically a crypto rich white guy from the U.S. decided he was gonna just go over to El Salvador and just take over the beach, like a beach town, and like convince them all to transform this established area into what he calls Bitcoin Beach, and everyone just accepts Bitcoin, and it's just really weird, really weird. I know. There's been a bit of movement too between. There were a bunch of companies, crypto companies, that were established at Bitcoin Beach who a bunch of them, from what I last looked, had moved out because it's just not growing in the way they had expected. I guess like it's not become like it's there as like a niche little like I guess touristy thing for crypto heads, but it hasn't gone beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, the average Salvadoran doesn't have an investment fund. They don't have a bank account big enough to throw at casinos or lottery, let alone gamble in crypto. The other thing, and this is the final thing, final point I want to make, is I've been looking at a lot of um, what's that housing scams pop out. You remember the Bitcoin conference in Florida, where they were like, "Oh, Bitcoin towers, where are they going to be? Somewhere. How much are they? You can pay in Bitcoin, and you can use Bitcoin to purchase an NFT that's going to be your property title." Immediately, I'm like, who's going to buy an apartment or a property that doesn't exist yet, doesn't even have a designated plot of land where it will be built, and it's going to be an NFT that isn't really tied to property laws in El Salvador. So how is that going to work? And then shortly after that, another project came up in Playa El Tunco Beach, and immediately the owners of local businesses were jumping like, whoa, 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 what's this render? This is rendered right on top of my business. Are you going to buy my land? Are you going to demolish my bar or whatever? And it just went silent. But it was very much the same thing. NFTs sold as property titles, which isn't really tied to Salvadoran law. And oh yeah, and also both places claim to be taxes free, free of taxes and all of that. So it's like, well, what exactly is going on there? And then finally, there was this place, this crypto casino, and I was like, well, when I first came on Twitter and said, oh, we're opening a crypto casino in El Salvador where you can gamble with NFTs, I was like, oh man, get that fecal matter out of here. And they actually responded to me on Twitter like, oh no, what are you complaining? This is a great business. And I'm like, come on. But then finally I came to a more cool head and was like, well, at least they're honest. At least they're saying it's a casino and you're gambling away. It's not like they tell you, oh, put your pension fund in this and you're going to make 10x, 100x gains. No, at least they're honest. At least it's a casino. But after about 8 months or so, they published like an update, like, oh, here's the teaser of what's going to be the NFT casino. I think it's called Crypto Babies or whatever, Space Babies.
I gotta check that.
Something like that. I can probably tweet the account later on, but essentially they were like, oh, here's a teaser, and they just put up a video of like a regular house with literally a neon sign, and that's it. And everyone was like, "What? After 8 months, this is it? This?" And you know, a big what's that? A big sign on the street. That's it. And then a couple weeks later, some minister from the Bukele regime is like, oh, the crypto casino is going to invest in our government by donating tokens and generating dollar equivalent tokens. And everyone's alarm went up and it was like, dollar equivalent what? And then they immediately withdrew from that. It was like, no. It's not dollar equivalent tokens. It's tokens. It's ERC20 tokens that are that you can gamble and you can get cash out in the casino and then just kind of slowly walked away, and they haven't really made any noise since, at least not to the extent that they were before. So all of these strange things and borderline, I guess, straight up scams are popping up in El Salvador. All these pale crypto guys want to establish in here and buy land and avoid paying taxes to the U.S. Well, both to the U.S. and El Salvador, I guess, paying taxes altogether. So that leaves me with a lot of questions like, what does the IRS think of it? What does the IRS think of a whole bunch of U.S. citizens going to El Salvador and getting paid in Bitcoin to avoid paying taxes? Whoa. I guess it's a question for another time, a brainworm, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, they're just here in the U.S. There's there's currently a discourse on the right because in the inflation bill that just passed, there is funding set aside to hire additional IRS agents, and here the right wing is using that to promote the idea that the IRS is going to go door to door, knocking like the doors of regular everyday Americans, looking to like confiscate their firearms and stuff like that, which is ridiculous. But I'm sure the additional IRS agents that are being hired will or do intend to look into things like that. There's certainly a lot. There's a lot of people who got into this early, who are in fact crypto rich and are definitely hiding those riches. Whether they're keeping on the DL, haven't realized their gains yet, or have sold and are keeping their fortune in offshore bank accounts, or moving to somewhere where they can avoid their taxes altogether. If they are U.S. citizens, the IRS will certainly come looking for what is owed to them for sure, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because there's probably a lot of money out there.
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing it's starting to get real creepy, and El Salvador's future is it's starting to become a real downer. But I still have some faith that
How long is he in? How long is his term? Like how long does he have until you guys can potentially get rid of him?
Well, that's a trick question because the official term and the Constitution says someone can only be president for 5 years, and there's no consecutive reelection. Like in 3 or 4 places in the Constitution, it says that, oh, if you promote the idea of somebody being reelected, you lose your citizenship. It's that straightforward. But what happened last year, Bukele, using the supermajority of Congress, essentially fired all of the Supreme Court and all of the judicial and around, well, not all, around a third of all the judges in the judicial branch. And so the new Supreme Court and the new constitutional court, top constitutional court, said, well, actually, from our interpretation of the Constitution, it is possible for Bukele to be reelected, even though it quite clearly says that that's not the case and that it's a crime. That's likely what's going to happen and when his term ends in 2024. And also, and this is what is actually making me lose sleep at night, is, well, one of the things is that the Bukele regime is pushing real hard on online elections. And if they handle it anything like the Chivo implementation or like basically any any technology project so far, it's going to be, a catastrophe.
Right.
No other way to say it. And I mean, even if they had the best intentions and the best equipment and the best team, online elections are as an infosec nightmare. I've worked in infosec for over 12 years, so I know. And even if they had started this project 5 years ago, they would already be too late, and it would be too short of a time span to design, test, and roll out a system that is trustworthy and effective.
Right. Yeah. I
What
mean,
everyone is saying
here
unofficially is
right. Yeah.
yeah,
Here in the
yeah.
U.S.
Everyone's saying, oh,
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
everyone's saying, oh, they just doing this to steal the election.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, here in the U.S., it was they expanded mail-in ballots in 2020, and it was a big success. People, the ability for people to basically pick up a ballot or get a ballot mailed to their house and fill it out and drop it off in the post office. Like here, if you can do that, if you have a reason, like if you're you can usually do that if you have a reason, like you're too sick to leave the house, you're going to be away. But in 2020, they just sent out the mail-in ballots to anyone who wanted them, and it really did help with voter turnout because obviously everyone can't get out during the hours of like 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. on one single day, where the election day. So I think doing whatever possible to get people to make it easier for people to vote is really good. However, like you mentioned, online voting, and we don't do that here for these very reasons, there's just too many things, at least right now, that can go wrong. There's no paper trail. It's not something that we can legitimately do without any sort of worry of security compromise. Maybe one day, but that day is not today. And I'm talking about for anywhere right now.
And the blockchain doesn't fix that.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Can you
Because
imagine? Yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
because I said it because they actually pitched that. They said, "Oh no, it's going to be fine. We're going to use the blockchain, and that's going to make it secure." And like, no, dude, it is not. But anyway, that's basically what's on the menu for us now.
Here you go.
So
Every single wallet gets to vote once, and we'll know that because the wallet will be registered. The vote will be registered to that wallet, and the blockchain will have the record of that vote in its ledger. So it would be very secure. I will just set up roughly 50,000 wallets. No one will know they are mine because they are completely anonymous, and I will just vote 50,000 times. Yeah.
yeah, basically. So
That's just one thing
and
that can go wrong.
not even getting into the blockchain. Well, electoral laws in El Salvador are quite different from the U.S. For instance, and this is something where I'm proud to say we have an upper hand over the U.S. Election days are holidays, national holidays. And if you work at a private company and suppose you work at a 24/7 hour rotating shift, your employer is required to give you enough time to go vote. And you can only vote in person, which is good. Now, what's bad is that the credential that you identify yourself to vote is your, well, we call it the DUI number, it's a national ID card. And let's just say that database has been leaked at least 2 times for the entire population of El Salvador in the last 3 years. So everyone's, and that's, I suspect, part of what happened with Chivo, that everyone's wallet got impersonated, because I mean, there was a point where you could Google your national ID number, and like the third result in Google linked, it was a URL linking to I guess the Salvadoran equivalent to the IRS, because they had left a database open and in plain text, so you could Google your name, your DUI number, and you'd find yourself. It was that easy. This didn't happen a long time ago. This was May 2020, and since then there's been another two compromises, two breaches. So, I mean, from my perspective, that alone entirely rules out online voting. But I mean, I hope we can get the chance to vote them out before they implement online voting. Although at this pace, I'm not entirely optimistic. I think it's going to something is going to break, and it's going to be quite a scandal.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah. Domingo, this was a great call. You should come on. Let me reach out to. Where can I? Send me a Twitter DM if you're on Twitter, or shoot me an email. The information's on the website. Let's set something up, because I do want to have someone on from El Salvador for an update of what's going on there. Maybe you could get a little bit more into some of the other areas that you know a lot about. That, especially if I didn't get a chance, like the volcano bonds, we didn't really get too much into it when I had the episode with Mario Gomez. Because I think what's happening in El Salvador is really, quite frankly, really crazy. And more people should be aware about the situation there. I mean, to the extent that people know about it, they just know, El Salvador is welcoming Bitcoin with open arms. Like, no, there's a lot more than that. And yeah, let's set something up, and so you can come on for the main episode, and we'll have a real formatted discussion.
All right. Thanks a lot for taking my call. And sure, I will reach out and we can set something up.
Sounds great.
Try to get some rest.
Yes, I will.
Take a day off. Have I don't know, have a beer or have some relaxing green tea, whatever.
Right. One of the reasons
Rolls
I'm
your
doing
boat.
this, one of the reasons I'm doing this marathon is because I am taking a break. I'm not going to be. Show is taking. There's going to be episodes that get uploaded for the podcast feed, but in terms of live streaming, I'm going to be away next week. So that's my break. So I will. Thank you, Domingo.
Nice. Enjoy your break and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
See
You too. Take care.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello, Cameron. What? Hello, Cameron. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, what happened? You all right?
Is this me?
This is you. How you doing, Cameron, buddy?
I'm doing sweet. 1 second, sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sorry, my voice. So how's it going, brother?
It's going good. Oh, what's going on, Cameron? This is another new Cameron. What's going on?
Well, I just called in. I wanted to congratulate you, brother, on your very first appearance on the Majority Report. I thought that must have been a very exciting thing for you. And I watched it, but I was hungover because of what I was doing last night. Maybe we can get into that later. But I did want to come and just give you a shout out on your own show.
First of all, Cameron, thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, I did the Majority Report earlier today. Not my first time. I don't know if you know this, but I used to be on the show daily from 2011 to 2016, give or take. And then also...
are you the guy who used to debate librarians?
I'm not Sam Cedar. No, I'm not Sam Cedar, and that's libertarians. But I would like to debate a librarian. I've had enough of their shit.
Microfiche is bullshit.
All right, so what?
The digitizing all that shit,
right?
Taking up all the servers.
Right. But Cameron, I gotta ask, what's going on? You're giving off different vibes today. What happened to the mine?
Oh well, you've heard of Bernie Sanders?
I have heard of Bernie Sanders.
Well, I heard this guy talking about that there is. Excuse me. I gotta hold a microphone so that you can hear me.
Sure.
It's definitely connected to my computer. That there is a 10% of the people who hold a larger than 10% of all of the wealth in such a way that it doesn't seem fair. And I figured out a life hack. It does only work for white men. But you can join a thing. You can shoot past all that, get right to the top of the 10% by becoming a 1%er. And all you need to do is get a hog, baby. Ride that hog. Get join a motorcycle club, and just start talking like I'm talking right now. And that's a life hack for all the white men in the audience.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's an interesting one. You just have to get a hog, an old school, one of those big ass Harley Davidsons.
It has to be a hog. I'm not talking. You can't come up in here with a Kawasaki.
Right.
Or any of those other places.
No, we don't want no Japanese slick, sleek, tiny motorbikes. We need the big old bulky Harleys, right?
I'd be careful about talking about like you were just doing right now. You might want to think you might be offending some of your Japanese viewers, but you do understand the essence of it is more of a Harley culture.
Right. Yes. No dirt bikes is basically what I'm saying.
Oh, you can go dirt biking, but that's on your own time.
I gotta ask you. I didn't notice this last time you called in, but it was brought to my attention. Is that a best of Bill Cosby record behind you?
Huh?
Is that a best of Bill Cosby record behind you?
1 second. I gotta wash down this Valium with coconut water.
Oh,
Delicious coconut water.
that doesn't feel like a
Straight
biker
from
type
the
thing. Bikers drink
slums
coconut
of
water.
El Salvador.
Oh, what?
Oh, it tastes awful. I hate coconuts.
Oh boy. So is that a best of Bill Cosby album behind you? Is what I said.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I'm doing some real important vigilante work out there in the streets. I'm getting all of this awful propaganda off the streets by going and buying all the Bill Cosby and merchandise that I can find.
Do you also
And
also listen to it as much as possible so you consume all the Bill Cosby so no one else can consume it?
you know, I actually did, and some of them were pretty good bits. Damn it. What else did I? Oh, I thought it was a funny coincidence. One of your guests, or your main guest, I suppose, happened to mention the exact shirt that I'm wearing right now. I don't know if that. Can you read that?
I'm
Or
not
is it
in.
backwards?
I'm not. I'm not involved in human trafficking. Oh,
Absolutely not.
right. That shirt has
Nor
me.
am I involved in the devil
Right.
or any kind of drinking blood.
I will say though, Cameron, your "I'm not involved in human trafficking" shirt does bring about the question why you would wear that shirt. Why are you wearing that shirt?
There's a guy, I think his name is Chinatown Bill, and he's been bothering me about his children.
Wait, hold on a
Which-
second. I just want to point out that me mentioning Japanese-made bikes possibly offensive to my audience. You having a nickname Chinatown Bill.
This is one of your viewers.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
And he's been bothering me about apparently, he sent his kids to my mine, and I'm telling, I gave you the tracking number. Like, you go, that's the postal service. That's why I'm sure you know, the United States Postal Service is totally inefficient, and FedEx and UPS are the way to go. And apparently this guy didn't want to shell out the extra $15 to $100 that it would cost to. I don't know if it was like you can fit the kid in a small package, and you can starve them out for a few days, and they get the pounds down, and that'll reduce your shipping costs. So that's just.
Wait, how do you know this, Cameron? If you are not involved in human
math.
trafficking.
Have you ever been to a post office?
I have. I've never been in a scenario where I got to sample how to ship a small child.
I don't like that word at all. I try again. You are being very offensive, and I think I might just.
Okay.
I don't know how long I can associate myself with this project of yours.
Cameron, what do you think of Wayfair?
I don't know what voice I'm doing now. It's a different voice than I started doing.
Right. It's you're getting a little bit more country, I feel like. I feel like you got a twang now. You went from just like a down south accent to all of a sudden you're gonna go singing in a bar in Nashville, Tennessee. That's what it feels like.
Boy, I wish, but there's a rival motorcycle club in Nashville that we're not, so I won't be singing in any bars there.
Okay.
Anytime soon. If I want to make it rich, like Bill Gates, I'm gonna have to follow the rules of my motorcycle club.
Right. So one more question for you, Cameron, if you don't mind.
Please.
What's going on with the mine right now? Who's manning the mine if you're doing whatever it is you're doing now with your motorcycle club?
You know what's weird is I think I lost the mine. And there was tons of crypto on it, and I'm the only one that has the password, which I also forgot.
Oh no. So all those riches or potential riches.
All those bitches?
Riches.
I didn't know this show was going so blue tonight.
Well, Cameron, What are you doing tonight with your motorcycle gang? You going anywhere? This is a night in for the motorcycle club.
Oh, they told me that there's some kind of initiation that I get to do.
Oh,
So I'm excited. They didn't tell me what I have to do, but they told me that once I'm in, and then I'll never be able to get out. So like, who would want to get out of being the 1%?
Right.
Maybe Jordan Peele, because he made that movie Get Out.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's a bit I'm working on.
I gotta say, I'm not getting the 1% thing, but everything else has been great, Cameron. Really enjoyed.
It refers to 1%ers. Refers to members of outlaw motorcycle gangs.
Oh, they're really 1% of people. Wait, is one? What are you saying? What 1%ers is what? There's a gang called 1%ers.
The term 1%ers refers to outlaw motorcycle gangs.
Oh, does it really?
As far as I know.
I did not know that. Oh, okay.
When I Googled it to make sure that I was correct before I came on your show to say it, that's what Wikipedia told me.
Okay. What about the 3%ers, the militia group? We don't want to accidentally join them, right?
Well, I'd need 2 other guys.
There you go. Because of course 1% times 3.
1, 2, 3, baby.
Yep,
It's all
that's
about
right.
numbers. Because you know Sam Cedar. He talks about numbers a lot.
Yeah, he's a big numbers guy. He loves them numbers. Yeah. Oh my God, you got me. All of a sudden, I'm going like, yeah, Sam Cedar. Yeah.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's pretty good. It is pretty fun. Yep. That's right. Well, Cameron, it's been a pleasure conversing with you tonight. Hope you have a great night, my friend. Enjoy the moonshine coconut water. I don't know what accent I'm doing now. It's morphing just like yours did at some point.
I think you're doing an accent of somebody from, like, whose English is their second language trying to do an accent of a third language that they don't understand.
Right. It sounds like I'm like someone from Romania trying to do a southern accent based off of a John Wayne movie they watched or something.
Yeah, Pilgrim.
Right.
That's what he would say. John Wayne was a fascist.
Yes, and I don't know if just this week because the Academy of Arts, whoever puts together the Academy Awards, they officially apologized to that Native American woman that Marlon Brando sent out all those years ago to highlight the plight of the natives and also how they were being treated in Hollywood and portrayed in Hollywood instead of accepting his award himself. And it was renewed. The story about how John Wayne needed to be held back in the backstage area because he wanted to assault this young Native American woman for her speech at the Academy Awards. Just
didn't like those people. Although he seemed to he'd probably get along fine with some motorcycle friends, but I suppose that's besides the point. We better wrap this up because my mouth's starting to get real dry, and I'm not going to be able to talk any much longer.
All right, go drink
some of the pills that those bikers gave me.
Go drink that delicious El Salvadorian coconut water, my friend. Have a great night, Cameron. Always a pleasure. Great call tonight. Absolutely great.
And I hope that one day you'll get your own show just like the Majority Report.
One day.
Goodbye.
Take care, Cameron. Have a great night. I hope the mine makes a comeback as well. Don't want to lose that mine. All right, let's go. Let me read some super chat. Oh, got another call. Let's take the calls. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, man, how you doing? My name is Daniel from Bakersfield.
Hey, Daniel. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, man. So I have a couple of questions. First, thank you for taking on my call. I have more of kind of a serious question, more of kind of a laid-back question pertaining to punk music. I know that's kind of a running theme that a lot of your callers have been asking about, but
hey,
maybe I'll start with the serious one.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, if I'm on a show, punk music or pro wrestling ostensibly must come up. And I'm always happy to talk about either because I find both to be a lot of fun to talk about. Go ahead.
All right, my good sir. So, the first question pertains to some said, I think it was around earlier this year. I can't remember if it was on this show. I think it was the Majority Report, and it was something that I think a caller had called in and asked about the number of people of color that are so kind of immersed in these white nationalist movements, right? When you see the Proud Boys or Boogaloo's or you often come across a lot of these like Asian and Latino communities that are in these movements or are subscribing to this way of thinking, despite the fact that the rhetoric is so kind of oppositional to their existence, pretty much, right?
Right.
I think you responded with something that really struck me, right? You said we're living in a new era of, and I'll second, but we're living in an era in which a lot of white supremacists or neo-Nazis are quite comfortable with, using people of color as a way of legitimizing their or saving off being racist, while at the same time helping to kind of reify white supremacist ideas and mainstreaming white supremacy, essentially, right?
Right.
And the question I have is that I think like a month ago there was that congressperson that was running for office who had that ad with the KKK and the AR-15s, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm defending." I think he was a black gentleman. I forgot his name.
I remember the ad. I forgot his name too, but I know exactly the ad you're talking about.
And so for me, it's like in the contemporary Republican mainstream voter base or whatever, that kind of makes sense to them, right? The Democrats or the KKK. It's kind of like that guy who spray painted his garage and like put Biden 2020 and BLM and Antifa, like, and I think he lit his camper on fire or whatever. People in their minds, despite how distorted that is, it makes sense, right? The left are the real racists, and we're not the racists and stuff. But since we're a more fascist society, I mean, the question I have is, when I watch an ad like that, is like, when do you think, or what do you think will happen, or when and what, hopefully it doesn't happen, when actual fascists are like, yeah, we don't have to hide behind dog whistles, we don't have to hide behind plausible deniability anymore. We can explicitly say, like, yeah, we're fascists. Like, no, yeah, like the KKK are the good guys in that story. Like, I just wonder what happens to those people, what happens to a lot of those communities, or even a part of the left that has for a long time, I guess I don't even call them the left, but for a long time has tried to build this red-brown alliance, and we need to, the left wing needs to work with the right-wing populists, right? The kind of Jimmy Dore, when it's like, yeah, we're moving towards fascism, yeah, but we don't have to hide behind all this like this plausible deniability or kind of a dog whistle. No, we can explicitly say, yeah, no, dude, like, we're fascist, right? Not me and you, but I mean
they're sort of doing it now. Like we are sort of living in that time now. Maybe the what maybe in terms of like the overtness on a mainstream level isn't quite there yet, but in terms of like the Republican base and like some of the major Republican talking heads and commentators and personalities, I mean, we're seeing that. It's definitely there. That's happening now. I mean, look at I think much like what we've always seen when it comes to fascist movements. The first people they tend to go after are the most marginalized, and I think that's why we're seeing this overtly anti-trans rhetoric right now. I think we are seeing the very beginnings of things getting very bad right now with what we're seeing with this anti-trans stuff that is spreading like wildfire on the right. And I think anyone who is ignoring it or not paying attention to it and viewing it with the urgency it currently deserves and needs is going to be very shocked soon down the, like, not far down the line, when they move on to a larger group of people. This is right now, we are seeing like the very beginnings of the overtness right now, in my opinion. I mean, people need to stop looking. I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm just talking obviously generally. People need to stop looking at this like culture war issues. We are beyond those culture war issues now. It is human rights issues, and the right is looking to take away people's human rights, their rights to live as themselves and how they want, comfortably, safely, without worry for their safety. The anti-trans stuff is the first attack on that for that group of people. They went a little bit overboard. I think they're seeing now with how the blowback in the midterms is likely going to be with Roe v. Wade, overturning Roe v. Wade. I mean, but they did it, and that's a much larger rollback of human rights that affects a much larger group of people. And that's something they've been trying to do for a long time. So you know what? I bet they will happily take the temporary hit at the polls to have that win for themselves and their base. But it's not going to end there. It's not going to end with the anti-trans rhetoric we're seeing. I think people need to be paying attention to this stuff right now and realizing the urgency of it. It's not going to be like, this isn't, and I've said this, I think early on the majority report, I've been saying this for a few weeks. What we're seeing online is not just online anymore. It's not the equivalent of someone being mean to you online and you can just turn off the computer. This is going well beyond that, where there are death threats being sent to children's hospitals. Trans people online are literally, like Keffels, the Twitch streamer, literally is moving from place to place because anti-trans harassment is following her and she's being constantly doxxed. And I mean, literally, someone swatted her, and the police showed up with their guns out, pointed at her, and because they thought she sent an email threatening people's lives, when it turns out that someone sent that email pretending to be her in order to get her swatted. I mean, she could have died. This is bad.
And then I to the hotel afterwards, right? And they swatted her there at a hotel, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. She apparently posted a photo of her cat on the hotel bed, and someone got their hands on that, and they were able to cross-reference the fucking bed sheets with the type of bed sheets that specific hotel uses. And they doxed her, and apparently she was bombarded with pizza orders or whatever, which, not the worst thing, I guess, but when you have all these pizzas showing up and the pizza place is looking for money and they don't give a shit that someone sent you, you didn't do it and someone's doing a harassment online, they still want you to pay, and they're gonna, who knows what a hard time they gave her and shit. And like, it's the whole point of them doing something like that is just to harass her and let her know that they're still on her tail after the swatting thing. Like, the swatting thing obviously was a life and death situation, but the pizza thing may sound like it's just a prank to some people, but no, that's very clearly like an F you to her, saying you can't escape us. This is like our, sort of kitschy little way of saying we know where you are still.
Right. I completely agree. I think for the longest time, when I teach classes, my students often ask this. They're like, we're just afraid. It seems like more marginalized communities that, are going to be targeted, right? A lot of students are fearful of that. And I always tell them the same thing. Like, hey, look, I have to be honest with you. That is most likely going to happen. I think there's this focus on the left to kind of deny, fascism is a characterization that's too extreme. And I've been saying this for years, man. I've been saying this since, I was an undergrad back in like 2012, 13, 14. Friends were, they got into 4chan, into Stefan Molyneux and all this libertarian stuff. And, when I started grad school in 2015, 16, started thinking to myself, like, yeah, a lot of this rhetoric that 10 years ago you wouldn't have seen in the mainstream, or at least would have had some type of backlash from and most people, is now accepted, right? This kind of eco-fascism. And I think the environment will be, or in parallel to the destruction of the environment, you will see the increasing amounts of anti-Black, indigenous, women, like discourse in which will target marginalized communities, you know? And I don't know, I just think there needs to be more of kind of a push back against that, or even, I mean, obviously a successful revolution against it, but I just think that we're fooling ourselves if we think that fascism now does not have any kind of stronghold over our politics or our futures. You know, it's really terrible. But yeah, but I completely agree. It's one of those things we have to.
Someone in the chat, Jody Baker says, "How about Tim Pool 9 times swatted?" I want to make this clear.
Yeah.
Swatting is bad, no matter what. Do not swat someone. I can't think of a more like a more deplorable sort of way to prank, quote unquote, somebody. It's not a prank. You're literally sending armed police officers to someone's home, thinking there's a threat there, and we all know that how police officers treat that. They're ready to shoot and kill. And I don't know if any of you have heard that story about those two gamers who got into a fight. And one of the gamers was known for swatting people. And the guy he was fighting with said, "Oh, yeah, you want to swat me? Here's my address." And that guy sent the police to the address the guy gave. And the address wasn't that guy's. So the police went to an address based on this fight between these two gamers, and the address they went to did not involve these two gamers at all. It was a random address, and they show up, knock down the door, and shoot and kill an innocent guy in his own home because they thought he was threatening the people in that house. Literally, he was like the provider for two young kids who just lost their parents. He was like their uncle or something. So after losing their parents, they, like in a car accident or some other horrible way, they lose their one guardian left, their uncle who is providing them. And then after that, the young girl who just lost her parents and then lost her uncle in this swatting accident, the swatting incident, I should say, accident's not the word for this swatting incident. She's so depressed from all this, goes ahead and kills herself, commits suicide. So this young kid is left with two parents dead, uncle dead, sister committed suicide, all alone. All because these two fucking idiots decided to swat each other over a video game. Swatting is bad. I don't care who it's done to. Do not swat someone. Don't use the cops, the police, to what's the word I'm looking for? To settle the score with your arch nemesis online or whatever. Ridiculous. Child shit. Literally children playing with fucking guns. That's what that is. The most horrific scenario I could imagine. Don't swat people. Christ.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, even with that chat, that person who said that, it's like we're not advocating for any of that violence, right? So even people like Tim Pool, even like people that we might find egregious, are not saying that shit either. That's insane. But I think someone like that often uses that as a way to negate everything we've been talking about, right? So it's like, oh, well, what about, yeah, so George Floyd gets murdered, but what about this white guy over here? He got killed by the police, as a way of negating or as a way of negating like the harassment and the dehumanization of trans people. Like it's so function, right? I mean, still anyone shouldn't be swatted. Because even in that case you mentioned, one has to wonder if this person obviously is innocent. This person is, a victim in all this, who was swatted, the gentleman that was murdered by the police. One has to wonder, like, well, how did that even transpire into the police killing him? You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where, like, hey, this guy gets killed by the police. Oh, we thought he had a gun, but he didn't have a gun. But we thought he was reaching for a gun he didn't have. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like you said, the police are there to kill. The police are, I mean, if you see a lot of those documentaries of police preparing for SWAT, it's like a football game for them. It's just like, we're ready to go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna, you know.
Like swatting is horrible, period. But the fact that the police can be fooled so easily into believing this shit is amazing. They go in automatically assuming that call is legit. I don't know how you can do that in 2022, in the year 2022, without thinking we need to at least look into this before we show up ready to shoot and kill. The idea that you wouldn't automatically question that kind of phone call, that kind of email in Keffels' case is it shows just how bad policing is. And then when they show up, they're ready to just not even assess the situation. Automatically, they believe someone's behind that door with a gun ready to shoot and kill me, the police officer. So I need to get ready to fight that same force with that same force. I mean, without a doubt, the people who do swatting know that's the case. They know that that's the dynamic, and that's why they do it. It's not a little joke where the police knock on your door and say, oh, hey, can we just come in and look around? And, oh, you got me. You ruined my day. You sent the police here. No. They know that's not what's happening. They know the police are showing up armed, guns cocked, unlocked, and ready to go. And that's why they do it. They know someone could die. And, someone just messaged me saying, every swatting case should be prosecuted at the lowest level of it being attempted murder. And you know what? I agree. Because that's exactly what they know is going on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when I heard about that case of that streamer that was harassed, that trans woman, I wondered, like, is there any ramifications that what happens in a lot of these cases? Like, if I call the police on you, for example, and I say, hey, Matt, so-and-so on the blank, yeah, he's preparing for this, right? It's a lie. I don't understand, why aren't the people who usually call ever arrested or ever? I mean, I'm not advocating for the police or anything, but I am saying, like, at least in this, you're essentially creating a situation where people can die, and like you said, people know that. I don't know. I mean, I hope this person here finds some type of what we're talking about, as well as I hope the what was her name? I forgot her name. The streamer that was been harassed and she went to the hotel. I'm not sure what her name is, but I hope in her case she finds some type of justice, man, because it's terrible,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, there was another thing. Didn't you want to bring up punk rock? How did we end up on this?
Yeah. When you were talking, I was like, should I even bring up the second question? Because it's like what we're talking about is so.
You know what, I only have a little bit more time left because I'm going on a plane tomorrow. Okay. I usually, I said I was streaming for 8 hours today, and in 15 minutes it will be 8 hours. Maybe I'll have time for one more call after this, but if not, why not just continue with you? You're on the phone. You got another question? Go ahead. Let's do it.
For sure, man. Thank you so much. So, not to kind of, move into a lighter direction, maybe we should, but most callers last month or so have been talking a lot about punk music, and I have a kind of a 3-tiered question for you, I guess. 1, who is your favorite punk band of all time? 2nd, who is your favorite? Who do you think the greatest band of all time is? And then 3rd, who do you think is most overrated punk band of all time?
Damn. Ooh. All right. Someone asked me my top 5 last stream, and I couldn't give them an answer.
Okay.
I would say probably my personal favorite in terms of the punk band I've listened to the most, and all the different related bands, would be the Leftover Crack, Choking Victim, Morning Glory, In Decay, Crack Rock Steady 7 family. That whole group of bands, they all have the same various interchangeable members. That's who I probably would say is my favorite of all time, personal favorite of all time. In terms of who I think the best punk band of all time is, oh my God, I don't know if I could answer that one right now off the top of my head. I have to really think that one through. Most
Yeah.
overrated. Ooh, that's another hard one. I'm not gonna say most overrated, but this is a band who I never really got into, and I know this was a lot of people's intro to punk music. And I'm not shitting on them. This is just my personal opinion. Like I you know, there's bands I would shit on because I just don't get. But my personal opinion, never really saw the big deal about them. Green Day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think is it the like the American Idiot era, or was it just like what was so?
Even before that, Dookie never really did it for me. Never really never got me in any sort of I mean, I don't hate them. If there was if you know, they have decent songs, good songs. I just
Right.
don't see how they ascended to where they got to with those songs.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not like shitting on like pop punk either, because I think Blink-182 is totally like, I think they deserve where they are. I mean, they've had many great hit songs. I mean, they're not my favorite band, but I totally get why they are so big or were so big. Green Day,
Yeah.
I can't say the same thing for, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think Blink-182 would be like the hallmark of, I think, pop punk music in the early 2000s, right? Like they are the quintessential band or whatever. No, I agree. I think I don't dislike Green Day. I mean, I kind of have to admit I was one of those kids. So you're 36, right? I think 37.
I will be 36 next week, but right now I'm still 35.
Okay, so you graduated high school, I imagine, 04, 05, I think, right? So you're around my age.
I was in high school from 2000 to 2004. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so you're around my brother's. I'm 30, so in junior high, listening to Green Day, I was really into punk music, but Green Day it's for the stupidest reasons. I couldn't stand Green Day at the time because I was like, oh, normie-fied freaking pop, like kids liked Green Day. But I mean, as I got older, I kind of realized that they're a pretty good punk band. They're not my favorite, but I don't hate them anymore. I think the punk band that I find to be the most overrated, and again, this might be problematic. I don't know if you agree or not, but the band that I think most people point to and say, yeah, that punk band is great, is more to do with the imagery rather than the music, are the Misfits. Like, I think the Misfits are a band where the Misfits skull, the iconic imagery is all there. But I don't know, man. The music, I can never. I mean, they have a few good songs.
They're punks,
but I just
they're punks Kiss.
Basically, yeah, and it was kind of corny sometimes. And I was junior high listening to Monster Mash and Helena and stuff. And
I will say, as a big horror and Halloween fan, Misfits do hold a special place due to that. But I agree in terms of like their place in punk based on strictly the music. They have a number of great songs, but to the level they're considered, I see what you're saying. I don't know if they are that. Yes, that's I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have so much nostalgia of the Misfits because, again, dude, I'm sure when you were in junior high school, you knew someone with a Misfits. You knew someone who had, like, that's everywhere.
Oh,
right?
that's the thing. That's just like the CBGB shirt. That's like a bunch of things where like it just became an iconic logo or design, and people will wear that shit without even knowing what the fuck it is, which is annoying. Yes, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, you see the shirt at Walmart, you're like, what the fuck is this, man? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you know what? To me, the worst thing was the CBGB stuff, because you know what? You can find a Misfits shirt at Walmart, buy it, and like go and find out about the Misfits and listen to the Misfits and become a fan. That's possible from coming across the shirt at Walmart or whatever. It's still ridiculous that you'd sell it there, but still, you could buy that shirt in Walmart and end up a Misfits fan. You cannot buy a CBGB shirt anywhere but CBGB's, and it makes sense, because you cannot buy a CBGB shirt at Walmart and be like, "Oh yeah, I went to CB's." No, you did not. If you bought it, if you bought it at Walmart or Target or something, you did not.
Yeah,
you can't. That's not an experience you can have. Like a band, I get it. You could discover them, listen to them, okay. but there's only one way to experience sea bees, and guess what? It's too late to do that, so you can't wear
Over,
that
man.
fucking shirt. Yeah.
I mean, I guess because I was someone in junior high where I discovered, which probably was the most mind-blowing thing I've ever watched in terms of punk music, was the live at the GB's Bad Brains Brain show. That's kind of iconic, and it was recorded like in '79 or '80, and I remember watching it online. But even didn't think, oh, dude, let's buy a CBGB shirt. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was one of those shirts or wear that was kind of off-putting, man. Like CBGB, Thrasher shirts, like it was kind of like, all right, I don't even think you have to even be inside of punk music, let alone like rock music, to even buy these things. And I don't. But personally, though, I think one of the bands that I think is often underrated, in terms of, I don't know about being the greatest, but I think they're a band that people don't often cite. It's probably Bad Religion, man. Like if you think about
I
Bad
gotta say,
Religion, like, they have.
I like Bad Religion.
Really?
I've seen them live before a few times. I did once go to a show where they headlined and played for like 2 hours, and I couldn't take it. It was it was too much Bad Religion. I was like,
Too much what?
it was too much Bad Religion. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like, I want to go home. Please end your set. I'm done. I've had enough of Bad Religion. 2 hours is too much Bad Religion. I mean, I agree. Great band. But I'm not that big of a fan where I would listen to. I'm not even just saying, 2 hours for any band. No, there's bands I can see for 2 hours. Bad Religion, unfortunately, for me while at that show, Bad Religion's not one of them.
No, I hear you, man. I think they have. I think the reason why I say that, though, is that they're. I'll be honest. When I was a junior discovering punk music, against all odds, I was into this music. So Bad Brains, Bad Religion, Black Flag, Kennedys, right, and Anti-Flag and stuff. Some of the more contemporary bands in the early 2000s, but I think Bad Religion just has. They have a longevity, man. They have kind of quality of their music. I mean, even some of their earlier stuff compared to their contemporaries at the time, their music sounded like they recorded in the studio. Their contemporaries sounded like they recorded in the garage or something, man. You know what I mean? I would listen to punk bands sometimes, like Circle Jerks or Black Flag. I love them, but I would be like, dude, like, were you guys recording this in a band somewhere? You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think their music.
Well, that's the great thing about punk.
I think
you could literally, like, there's no bar too low for punk music. I mean, you could the recording could be shit, the sound could be shit, the equipment could be shit. It doesn't matter as long as it's fun and you could dance to it. That's all that matters, baby.
Yeah, I know, that's true. That's true. And so I think I imagine being at a Bad Religion show now would be kind of hard because they have so many albums. You're probably there for like 3 hours thinking like, yeah, hopefully end the set. You know what I mean? But right. I don't know.
I would love to know if there's a guy who goes to a Bad Religion show with all their music and and just stands there in the front row and goes, "Play New America." One guy, "Play New America."
You know what's funny though? That show back in 2003 when I was in grade, and I went to they came to Bakersfield where I'm from, and they played their album. I think it was like The Empire Strikes Back or Strikes. I forgot what the name of the album was. They played the entire album, and they were like, "All right, folks, thanks a lot. See you guys later." And they left. The crowd was like, again, this is 2003, right? 2004. So they were like, "Sorrow, sorrow, sorrow," and everyone just didn't leave. And so they came back. And
I'll say that is a great song. I mean, it's probably their biggest. But you know what?
Yeah.
That's one that's certainly worthy of it. I should say. It's that good. Yeah.
Yeah. So they came back, and then Greg Rafferty was like, we don't normally play encores, but I guess we can do it, sure."
Lies. Every band does. Give me a break.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So I'm sorry that I kind of put a damper on your night with the eco-fascism stuff and then back to
No,
punk.
no. I'm used to this. I mean, I've been covering all this for over a decade now. It's been my beat. I'm used to talking about it, and I've become I'm able to simultaneously understand the urgency, yet also become so desensitized to it that it really doesn't ruin personally. Talking about it, I should say, doesn't personally ruin my night or day or whatever. It's a good skill to have, honestly. Doing what I do, but yeah, it was a really first half very interesting and a conversation. I really appreciate it. Second half, very fun conversation. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too, my man. Thanks again, Matt. Take care, brother.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. There's there's a super chat or two. Oh, all right. You know what? I'll take the calls up to midnight. You still have a few minutes. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt. This is Dave from Jamaica. How are you?
Dave from Jamaica. I'm doing good. How are you, my friend?
Too bad. So I heard you're going on vacation.
I am. Hello, you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Well, all right. I heard you're going on vacation after this great Matt Binder bonanza.
Oh, I like that. The Binder Bonanza. I am going on vacation. Yes, that is true.
The Binder bonanza. Well,
Yep.
You deserve it. You've
Thank
been dredging through the muck, so to speak, and bringing us good information. And I found the interview you did earlier quite interesting, even though our Australian friend there is quite a character. But you seem a little, not skeptical of him, but you are more, what you say now, use resiliency of this crypto stuff, like the cockroaches they are.
Yeah, like I get what Ed was saying. Like we're gonna see a bunch of companies go under. I just don't think it's gonna be viewed. In my opinion, when all these companies go under, you're gonna see the advocates in this space view it as an opportunity for them to become the next big thing. Like that's why it's not gonna end. And from what we're seeing is there's always suckers. And from what we're seeing is even when you scam the suckers, they're such suckers that they'll come back for more even after being scammed again, and again. How do you, if you're someone who has no shame and is fine with making money any way, shape, or form, I don't see how you can look away from this space that attracts these suckers.
Well, that is a good point. Well, I guess my prediction is I think especially when Telsa be related to crypto directly, I think that would be the sign that it's time to move on to a different hustle, because I think at that point the promises that tech companies make in general have lost purchase. But again, as you said, it seems unlikely because there seems to be an infrastructure of people who have lots of money and are very easily fooled by the hype.
Also, the VC money is still pouring in too, and it's pouring in. It's not even pouring into like, me and a bunch of developers been spending 18-hour days in front of the computer coding this crazy new idea we had. Look at this platform we've built. This is how it works. Let me walk you through it. We've done the research into the market, and this is what we think the customer base is and how many customers we could get in month 1, month 6, month 12, 24 months. And here's all this. You don't even need to do that shit anymore. You literally just go, hey, I got this great Web3 idea. We're going to revolutionize the space. We're going to take this thing and tokenize it, put it on the blockchain. All I need is 20 mil from you. Sold. Here you go. $20 million. Get started building it now. I mean, as long as that dynamic exists, holy shit, why wouldn't these Web3 people go, hell yeah, I'm going to keep coming up with shit to raise the funds and pay myself a nice little salary?
I guess that's why the caller seems to be so focused on the legal aspect. I
Right,
think
I mean,
literally
I mean,
at this point,
I mean,
I think the only way to stop it is to make all this type of stuff illegal,
Yes.
which might be
like
very tricky.
Unless the law comes down and says the minting tokens is illegal. Blockchain use in certain ways is completely illegal. Then I don't see the space ceding to the failures of even every single current company in the space. It will just
That's
create.
a good point.
It will just create, in my opinion, this literally gold. I mean, it's always going to be a gold rush because that's how they view this space. But imagine if like it was the gold rush, but like somehow all the gold was lifted out of the prospectors' pockets and put back in the ground. That's what the gold rush would be if all these crypto companies failed.
It's basically a gold rush, but the only person making money is
yeah. Or the people who are creating 3D fake gold and putting it in front of people as the real thing.
Right. Well, there's one more thing, and then I'm off. All your callers are good. I learn a lot from them and your guests. One, when's Molly coming back? And also, I have to shout out Tokyo Hands for giving us the deep dive into one of Dark Brandon's projects so far, the neutralization of Abe, but the real story behind it, which is basically a revenge thing. It was no right winger going against a right winger or anything like that. It was basic revenge and somewhat justified in a way. So not saying we should go executing right winger. No, not saying that, but you get what I'm saying.
I mean, in fact, from what I was seeing, and maybe Tokyo Hans if he's in the chat right now, he can confirm this or not. The people of Japan, after hearing, like, this is apparently this whole situation, the Abe assassination, has put a spotlight on the Unification Church's connections with the political parties there, and it has turned the tide against the politicians to the point where the current popular sentiment in Japan is that there should not be a state funeral for Abe, which is pretty.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, like, I'll add another one. Wow. That's literally the best result that could have ended up happening.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. And to your first thing, by the way, I think Molly White is probably one of my favorite people to talk to. If it was up to me, I would ask her to come on, especially being that what she does is so perfect for it. I would ask her to come on every episode. I just sort of like, I try to, unless I was going to have a co-host, I do try to like just split it up a little bit, but you're absolutely like, so it's not like back-to-back guests, but you're absolutely right. It's 100% time for Molly to get back on this show. I got to reach out and invite her back on.
Well, as I promised to make this short, so I'll be moseying along. Binder, you enjoy your vacation. I might be coming to New York in around December. So, but I'm just saving up the cash. Figure nice time to go visiting. Been since 2 years anyway. So, catch all of y'all later. Have a nice night.
If you come to New York, please definitely do let me know. Seriously, we gotta meet up. We'll yeah. All right. Have a great night, Dave. Always a pleasure. All right. Oh my. You know what? I'm feeling it. So one or two more calls. Let's do it. But they gotta be quick. Gotta be quick calls. 5 minutes or less. Here we go. But 5 minutes even too long. 2 minutes or less. Here we go. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from? I just lost everybody. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from? Oh, I just lost everybody. Hey.
Hello?
Hey, you were on the air. What's your name? Where you calling from? Oh, I don't hear you. I don't hear you. I did hear you, and then you cut out. Let me take the next caller. See if you can fix your sound. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
G'day, Matt. It's John from Australia. How you doing?
Ah, John from Australia. Always a pleasure to hear you call in, because you always give me great stuff for when I need to do bonus content. So thank you. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well, and I am going to give you a bit of a tip as well.
Oh, here we go.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. But I got to call out Dave from Jamaica saying Ed, your guest, is Australian. I take offence to that. He's from the UK, right? He's English.
I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure. I gotta find out myself. I mean,
living in Las Vegas, I think.
I know he's in. I don't know if he makes that public, but I guess he does. If you know, he is in Vegas. Yeah, I don't know where he's from, honestly. I don't know.
I'll eat my Uber. But anyway,
no, he's British. He's British. You're right. It says his Instagram says British. There you go. You got it.
You and Ed today talked things you talked about, particularly the coins insider trading stuff that the SEC mentioned.
Right.
Mentioned is a bit of a euphemism, I guess. But in their document that they were discussing this, you again also mentioned with Ed, I think it was 9 different tokens that the SEC has said are securities.
Yes.
Am I right there?
Yep.
Now, one of them mentioned that I think both of you sort of said, I've never heard of this, was Rally.
I think we looked that one up, and it was that was one of the ones that is received funding from, you guessed it, Andreessen Horowitz.
Correct. Rally looking at for a while.
Oh,
and it
here we
popped
go.
up on my radar.
Here we go. I'm looking forward to this.
September last year.
Go ahead.
So it popped up on my radar September last year when I saw that sort of internet celebrity Felicia Day started spooking this token.
What, really?
Yes.
What? And
then when I looked into it a little further, the band Megadeth is also spooking this token.
What?
It's probably time I told you what Rally actually is. Right?
Please.
So
actually,
Rally
you want to keep going through celebs so I can keep going. What?
Those are the two. Those that I probably that you probably. An electronic music artist called BT, who's on there as well. So if anyone's aware of
not BT, I have no idea who BT is, but okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. So Rally is this. I think it started around 2018, and it's this crowdfunding Patreon type thing, where you set up a platform and you create your own token, what they call a creator token, right? So I think Felicia Day's is called Geeks, the Geeks token. I forget what Megadeth's is called.
Mega token, maybe.
It could be called Mega, it could be called Death token, who knows? Is that buy these tokens of Rally in order to support the Felicia Day or Megadeth or whoever, and the creator can say, if you buy 1,000 of my token, I'll answer little Patreon reward type things. From what I can tell, these aren't recurring payments; these are just one-off payments, which is really interesting. But anyway,
nothing supports creators like a platform that just enables one-time payments.
Well, here's the real. So I buy this token or whatever, and then Rally says, "Okay, you're holding onto this. Each month, get a payout from Rally based on the activity that rally is generating. You get a rally, sorry, it's not monthly, it's weekly, from rally on how popular the creator is. Now, we test in the United States, which is the FCC used to determine whether or not something is a security, but one of the things around that, one of the key points in the Howey test is if the person buying it is expecting some sort of profit or funds coming in or money being paid to them based on the effort of others.
I mean, that seems pretty direct.
Which you might call
so
a dividend, for example, right? A dividend that gets paid is a portion of the of funds generated by the company, right? Which is based on the efforts of the employees of the company, and a shareholder gets paid a dividend, which is a portion of the profits of the company based on the efforts generated by the workers of the company. This is kind of pretty clear cut, and Rally themselves a section on their website that says, is Rally a security? Is my product a security under the Howey test? Yes, exactly right.
It's like the shirt. Like the shirt. My I'm not involved in human trafficking shirt is resulting in a lot of questions about whether I'm involved in human trafficking. Right. I mean, yeah, that is. I got to do an episode. First of all, you need to reach out to me. I mean, you have before, but you need to come on the actual main show, like the full real deal episode, and we got to do an episode or 2 or 3 on some of the stuff that you are well versed in. I think the video game stuff is probably your area, your best area. But I got to do an episode on this too, man. You bring me so much. This is great. The funny thing is, after you mentioned it, I went to Rally's website, and I've definitely been here before. Like last year or something. I remember when they were like just starting out and were like just starting to launch, and me like thinking like, oh my God, they're going to make launching your own coin this easy. And then it just fell off my radar completely. And I haven't thought about these guys since you just brought them up, and it didn't even connect when I was talking with Ed or when I saw the SEC unregistered securities thing where Rally was listed as one of those securities. I didn't even occur to me that this was the same place. This was the same company.
Astounding. I tweeted back in September when Felicia Day was doing this stuff, because a lot of people were really annoyed, rightly so. It is a bit like kind of skeevy. But then I tweeted in September, I'm like, how long will it be until Felicia Day is basically has been discovered to have been telling her fans to buy unregistered securities? And well, it turns out that that's now.
I mean, it seems so like I don't know how you think of like. Listen, maybe to the uninitiated, the noobs, the people who don't know anything about this, they think, oh wow, my fans could support me and they could earn money on their own. But me being not even crypto specifically, just well versed in, like, I've always sort of followed like scams and grifts and stuff like that. The idea that people, your supporters would make money off of your work, my first question would be, okay, where's that money come from? How are they making that money? I mean, it sounds nice if you don't know anything about this stuff. Wow, my fans can make money off of just like watching me or something or supporting me. But I would ask, where's that money coming from? Why are they getting paid to support me or watch me? Because my first thought would be, this money's coming from somewhere that's fucking somebody over, because no one there's no legitimate business where you get paid in that way where someone else isn't being exploited.
Exactly right. Yeah. And you can go to Rally, you can go to Felicia Day's page on Rally and look at the value of her
I was just doing that. Yep.
And you can look at the value of it when she announced it in September, and you can look at the value of it now. And they actually handily, very helpfully have the graph there on the main page where you can set the time frame to all time, and you can see the value of that token kind of make a downwards movement down and to the right, like which is not anyone not well versed in finance. Down and to the right is bad.
Right.
Up and to the right is good. Down and to the right, not good.
Right.
Especially for things that you've been telling people, oh, you can buy this and you get rewarded week on week when you buy it. Well, those rewards tend to come from of putting in money as well. It's not great.
Right.
Not great.
When you,
and this is the sort of thing.
When you look at line charts, like on the stock market, or you look at candlestick charts, you definitely don't want to see a graph that looks like a hill that someone can roll down. You definitely don't want that.
Exactly right. And Felicia Day and Megadeth sell unregistered securities to fans is absolutely sort of the headline that I would see written on Mashable by yourself. That's what I would sort of expect to see.
why isn't the SEC going after Rally directly? Is it just the fact that Coinbase can't list it, but Rally could sell it themselves? Like, what is the deal here? Why isn't Rally shut down? Do you know?
So this I haven't looked into very closely, but I know that Rally have since their organization up. Rally.io, the creator platform, versus Rally, the network. And there was some interesting talk around whose call was it, who decision. They set up, because there's a governance token as well, they set up a governance token. Don't quote me on this. I'm going from some reading I did a couple of months back. But as I recall, they put up this vote on their on using their governance token, and they said, oh, we're going to split up and it's fine, and kind of, well, a bunch of whales kind of tipped the scale in terms of the vote there, as is wont to happen with all of these DAOs and governance tokens type things.
Right.
As to why the SEC isn't pursuing them now, look, we until we do this stuff until it becomes most of the investigations with the SEC and any sort of financial organization to stay quiet for quite some time.
Right, but it seems
unless people involved try to leave the country or whatever.
It seems weird though that we would find out about the unregistered securities from Coinbase instead of the SEC sending something to Rally directly. No, like it seems like my take on that would be that maybe Rally themselves aren't doing anything wrong, but Coinbase was by listing Rally. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Rally is allowed to do that themselves, but exchange.
To my knowledge, you can't sell a security or something that functions as a security without registering with the SEC. All right, you cannot.
I'm gonna definitely have to look more into this and why we're finding this out from the Coinbase thing and not the. You understand what I'm saying though with that. I do. Question,
yeah.
Like, you would think that like we would get the SEC documents directly to each of those companies saying you are selling unregistered security as well. You are too. It's not just the exchange, but we don't have that. So it's weird to me. But I'm gonna look into this for sure, especially now that you've tipped me off to what Rally is and who's using it. Who else is using this? Jesus Christ. We got.
Those were the biggest names I found.
I'm seeing who else. You said BT. Right. These must be the biggest ones, right? Who's got the highest price one? I don't know these people either. Yeah, I think you're right. These are that's who. You would think Felicia Day, being that her connection to video games, that the gaming community would have given her the heads up on it and been like, no, we don't want you to do this.
Well, I tweeted about it. Everyone definitely did and expressed their concerns.
Oh, so it's impossible for her to not know about it. Okay. Wait a minute. You did not tell me about this. This is by far the biggest one. Beetlejuice of the Howard Stern show has his own token on Rally.
I have no idea who that is.
You don't? Oh my God. Okay. Well,
Howard Stern's a American, right? Howard Stern's satellite radio.
Yeah, but he's the king of all.
We don't get that here.
He's the king of all media, my friend. He's geez, I didn't know Howard Stern was so locked into the U.S. I really didn't realize that. Wow. I'm looking through this now.
No, definitely not an international.
Wow.
figure.
All right, but Beetlejuice, man, that's yeah, all right. I think that's all I can see right now, but it just keeps loading and loading. All these different people who are on here. My God. John, as always, thank you so much for the call, and of course, a new rabbit hole to fall down. Thank you so much.
Always happy to steer you down all these horrible wooded paths. Hey, look, maybe there's nothing to this. Maybe I'm off base here, but I do think there's a story here. I think there's something here, and I'm always happy to send tips your way.
All right, awesome. I agree with you. There's something here. There is absolutely something here. Oh yeah, why did I say have a great? Oh no, I just found this one. MJF, the AEW wrestling star, has his has a token on here. Oh, that is no. Okay, now my day is ruined. All right. I better stop looking. I better stop looking. Have a great no, not night, because it's not night there. Have a great Friday afternoon, my friend.
That's it. Have a great another week off, and hopefully you don't break your phone this time.
Oof, you really had to dig it in right there at the end. Ooh.
I gotta twist the knife.
All right. Maybe don't enjoy your Friday afternoon. No, it's all good. Have a great day, my friend. Take care. Bye.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
All right. That call went on longer than I expected, but it was John from Australia. But let's do this really quick. The last call, did I get you? No, you hung up. All right. Well, I guess that's the last call. I was going to take. All right. Renee, my friend.
Hey,
you
how's
got
it going?
you got 1 minute. Countdown begins. You're the final call. Let's do this.
Okay, how about let's preview the tune?
Let's do it. You're right. Let's listen. Let's listen. It's pretty long, right? It's like 3 minutes or something. Or let me listen.
No, it's shorter than that, and you can cut it whenever you want. You can.
All right, let's. So Renee put together
part that at the end that has I sampled your conversation. Well, first of all, I sampled you.
Let's just listen.
Saying
let's
like,
listen
where
to
you
it.
calling from?
Let's just listen to it. So
and
this
then,
is
Dave from Jamaica, and after that, the juicy part from your debate with Tim Pool.
All right, this is. Renee said he was going to put together a song to play on Doomed when I transition from the first half of the show to the second half of the show.
No.
No?
I did the intro.
Oh, well, let's listen.
And I'm also doing the call-in. I did a song, but
all right, let me take a listen.
Ethan didn't like it because she went in.
All right, let me just do it. Let me just do it.
Anarchy kind of thing.
Say that again. I'm sorry, you cut out for a second.
Okay. For instance, I did intro. This is kind of like gothy and punk.
I did. Okay, go ahead.
Right.
All right, let me play it.
And did the call-in section. I was doing a song, but I scraped it because finally Miss Heathen, that I'm collaborating with, went into another direction. Wanted something more like Danarchy or something.
All right,
like that.
let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go. Let me listen to it. We'll listen to a little bit right now. I don't think I could play you on Skype while we listen. So just if you talk.
Oh no, I'll cut off then.
All right, here we go. Thanks, Renee. Let's listen and then yeah. All right, here we go. Today on
Ecological collapse, corporate fascism, corporate journalism, police brutality.
I gotta say, Renee, I'm digging this, but I don't think it's the intro. I think this is a perfect song to play while I transition from the first half of the show to the second half of the show. It feels more like that. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It's really good for that.
What's up, Matt? from Jamaica.
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? Yeah, this is good to play for the second to transition to the second half. Oh wait, hold on. My daughter's crying at the door. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll be back to read super chats and stuff. Just give me a second. Sorry about that. My daughter woke up and she came out of bed and was knocking on the door. And usually, her mom is able to take it, but I guess she fell asleep too, so she didn't hear her at first. But she woke up and she's taking her back to bed. All right, that's it for the phones. That's it for the calls. I appreciate them all. We had so many more people who tried to call in too. I would love to take your calls when I get back the week after next. Let's read these super chats. And then that's the show. Awesome Possum with a $10 super chat. Safe travels. Thank you so much. Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Had to get a hold of my source, aka wife. Abe still getting a state funeral. It's getting heavily protested, but Abe's party has like 65% of the votes. Still to see what happens. P.S. Enjoy your second trip. Thank you. Everyone's saying second trip as if I'm like Mr. Vacation. Like I'm constantly taking vacations. This is the first time I've ever taken 2 vacations, and it's strictly because the two separate parts of the family set it up completely solo from each other and invited us to go. So there we go. And I usually take 0 vacations. This is a true rare event. Oh, let me thank the patrons. Who's from people who joined since the last episode? Here we go. Chuckles B, Jason S, Brawlerella, Stompy, DB, Christopher, Pearson B, and Justin I joined during the show. Thank you so much, Justin, for becoming a patron. And Justin even sent me a message here. Let me see if it's something that's readable or if it's something just between us. Justin says, took me long enough, big fan, but can finally support and so happy to do so. Thank you so much, Justin. As always, if you're not already a patron, patreon.com/MattBinder to support this show. Your support helps grow this channel, helps grow these shows, Doomed, Scam Economy. I want to do more. I want to help disseminate more. I want to bring people on board. We're close to being able to do that. And I could only do it with your help. So patreon.com/MattBinder. And if you're worried because, I'm going away next week and maybe that's why you're not joining right now, you won't get charged till the first of the month. That's how Patreon works. So if you want to join right now, don't worry about like being charged for a week where I won't be here, even though there's going to be content going up. You're not going to get charged till September 1st. That's when the next charge is. So patreon.com/MattBinder to support this show. You could drop a super chat, although we're ending the show right now, but someone just dropped a super chat. So, Kowalski with a super sticker. Thank you so much. Daiquiri25 with a super chat. Thanks for the talk, brother. Solidarity to you and everyone. Thank you so much. Oh, and there were super chats on the first half of the show, which I don't have in front of me. Let me grab those really quick. Because where's this? Here we go. The super chats from the first half of the show. Renee, check your Twitter and mailbox. Oh, we talked just now. Ed is kind of like Sargon of a Chad. What? Petition to make Ed permanent co-host? He is good, Renee. That's for sure. Mifune with a $10 super chat. Happy early birthday, Matt. I really appreciate that, Mifune. I'll do a birthday episode when I get back. That way you could all send me birthday super chats. But no, I'll do a birthday episode when I get back because I'm going to be gone for my birthday. Aaron Landes with a super sticker. Thank you so much. And Midnight Pizza Man with a super chat from earlier that I missed. Matt Krusty the Clown Binder. What? Omega Shenron Dragon with a $10 super chat. Bummed I missed the whole marathon, but I myself was on vacay from work and news to an extent. Libs of TikTok, ByteDance, and LOTT's backers need to be sued into poverty. Stochastic terrorism. Stochastic? I don't know how to say that word off the top of my head. I'm too tired to think. Gotta go. I absolutely agree. I don't know why TikTok itself or ByteDance hasn't done something about Libs of TikTok using their trademark. Like, they sell merch and stuff. They use the TikTok design logo and font and all that. I don't know why they aren't, like, the branding colors too. I don't know why they haven't sent Libs of TikTok a cease and desist. Literally, I really do truly believe that if Libs of TikTok wasn't able to use that name and wasn't able to use the TikTok brand itself, because TikTok is known for young social justice people and, Gen Zers and things like that. I think if they weren't able to use that TikTok brand in their name, I think they would be a lot less big than they are. I truly do think that. It's something about that name clicks with the right, and without that name, they would lose some of that emphasis on what they do, honestly. Oh, Vincent G, thank you so much for becoming a patron. Really appreciate the support, getting in right now in the nick of time. Really appreciate the support. All right, folks. Oh, the Twitch folks. As always, connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and you could drop me a free Twitch Prime subscription. That's free for you. You basically make Amazon pay me from their own money, just by being an Amazon Prime subscriber, period. Like, that's nothing to do with you watching Twitch or watching me. It's a great way to support this show. Just remember, you have to do it every month. It's not an automatic renewal. They give you the free Twitch Prime subscription every month to use manually. Corn Pop for Perez, thank you for resubscribing to Prime. That's a 5-month subscription. The Emo Dragon resubscribed with Prime, 4-month subscriber. Emo Dragon says, "Hey Matt, was glad to see you hosting MR today. Missed you last week. Keep up the great work. I always love to seeing you and Lance together. Lance of the Surfs. Left is best. Take care, brother." Thank you so much, Emo Dragon. Clue Pack gave out 5 community gift subs. Zachamania resubscribed with Prime, 7-month subscriber. Zachamania says 7-month sub streak, motherfuckers. Spencer MT subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much. A Social Communist resubscribed with Prime. Resubscribed at Tier 1, not Prime. Thank you so much. Subscriber for 5 months. Thank you all so much for the support. We got 2 more super chats at the last minute. Santa Cliff with a super chat says, "I'll show you my Antifa stash gap when you get back." Foresto Montero with the $5 super chat, "Just want to encourage everyone to run for local office. I got elected to school board unopposed." Oh, that's awesome. Call in when I'm back so we could talk about that if we can. Sometimes you just have to raise your hand to win, says Foresto. I want to talk more about that. Now is just not the time, but definitely would like to talk more about that when you get back and if you want to call in. All right, folks. Really, really, really appreciate all the support. I love doing this. I love talking with you all. I love the calls. I love I have fun doing this, regardless of what we're talking about. And the fact that you guys enjoy it too, it's just the cherry on top. Thank you for anyone who watched me on Majority Report earlier today. Thank you for anyone who tuned into the Majority Report post show I did on my own channel. Thank you to anyone who watched the Scam Economy episode. Thank you to anyone who stuck around for the Scam Economy post show. And thank you to everyone who stuck around for the now 8.5-hour Matt Binder marathon that went on throughout the day, aka Matt-rathon, the Binder Bender. It was tons of fun. I'll got to do something like this again later in the year. Maybe we'll do like a Patreon-a-thon, like an open call for patrons. fundraiser type thing. We'll see. Yeah. Let's recalibrate when I get back. Enjoy your week, everyone. You'll probably see me on Twitter at the very least. Not as much as usual, but I'll still be checking in every now and then as long as my phone doesn't fall into another creek. All right, everyone. Oh, who should I raid on Twitch? Who's on Twitch right now? Oh, Donald James, the last minute super chat. I'll pitch in too. Thank you so much. Who should I raid? Who should I raid on Twitch? Gotta raid someone. Gotta spread the love. Gotta spread the support. I'm gonna raid the first person that people I can't even think. The first person that people recommend. Who should I raid? Who should I raid? Who should I raid? Who should I raid? Emmy said Curse Splash. Who's that? Let me see. Curse Splash is not on. I don't see a Curse Splash. I don't see a Curse Splash. Bunch of people are saying Famous Horse, like literally almost in unison, everyone. And Famous Horse has, of course, raided me a number of times. So I gotta, of course, raid Famous Horse. Gotta raid Famous Horse, of course. All right, everybody, stick around for Famous Horse, the Famous Horse raid. Doomedcast.com for the podcast version of the show. There'll be something uploaded next week. Scameconomy.com for the podcast version of that show. There'll be something uploaded next week. For the live streams, I will see you all the week after next. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy as summer starts to come to a close. Enjoy it. I will see you all next time, which will be the week after next. Take care.